What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon, where we are just whacking bosses left and right. It is like whack-a-mole up in here with boss targets. We got them hanging on the walls. We got wanted posters all over the place. We came back with a couple of scalps last time. I think we're just about done with boss pulls, though. There's a couple more. We've got the Siren. However, we lack leveled up people now to do some of these quests because all the people we were using were sort of like right on the edge of making it in there. Like, we could make a pretty strong argument that you could bring Callie, Hurricane, and then just some random filler healer for the next part. And that's actually undoubtedly more than likely what I'm going to do when we go after Swine Prince probably next. Siren I don't have a lot of experience with. Although I've heard that the Siren fight is basically the exact same fight as... There's like an insane prophet or something like that in here that you end up fighting. There's 2 bosses per zone now because I think the developers realized that the boss density... I don't know. I've never liked the mechanic that made it so you just repeat bosses over and over and over again just with increased health pools. I always felt like for medium difficulty there should be an entirely new set of bosses. For high difficulty there should be an entirely new set of bosses, and then you go to the darkest dungeon. I don't know if that's how it works nowadays. I'm pretty sure there's just 2 bosses for each dungeon, and they just get stronger every single time you level up the dungeon. Don't really like that mechanic that much, but I get that it was made by an indie developer, so chances are they probably lacked the funding. Well, maybe not that part. I have a pretty good guess how much money this game made. I used to think like indie developers were like super poor and never got to do anything fun in their lives, just totally like sucked. Until I started talking to actual developers. And you get a couple drinks in them, and they start talking about how much money they actually make doing this. You're like, yeah, indie development is actually a pretty lucrative business to be in, because the fact of the matter is you get paid whether you do a good job or not. And anything that gets slapped up on Steam will do like a bare minimum amount of sales. What sucks is when you don't follow promotion. Are you leveled, sir? Kind of. He's leveled enough. He'll go with us on this one. Anyways, back to my point. The only time that gets them into trouble is when they do like high market, they do games with like huge production values and whatnot, and then they release to Steam, and the things that they sell, and they do it at a really low price, then the things that they sell barely recoup their losses, where I think you get some people where they're like, I priced this wrong, or this happened. But nonetheless, if a game goes viral like Darkest Dungeon, you can assume that it made a lot of money. I mean, I knew a guy who did like a random mobile game. It wasn't even like a complicated game or anything like that. He did a mobile game that he put up on Steam. And I think within the first 2 weeks, he had turned like 35 or 40 grand or something like that. And that was after Steam's cut. It's a pretty lucrative business to be in. And his game did not go viral or anything. That like it was not like, oh, that's a medium dungeon. I would like to start with something a little bit less. Are you guys level? Wait. What level are these guys? Oh, we were going to do a Swine Prince run. That's what it was. Okay, so that works out. The Cleansing Crystal gives you a bunch. So it makes it so you're really, really bad at deploying debuffs, but you're really, really good at receiving them and almost never being affected. That would actually be a fantastic item for anybody that doesn't use Blight debuff or bleed skills. So that would be a really good item to throw on just about any frontline melee combatant that doesn't rely on those things in order to deal his damage. Off to Swine Prince. Swine Prince is a troublesome fight, mostly due to RNG. Not too bad of a fight if you just look at it statistically. However, can be bad. Can go very, very wrong if you don't play your cards right. We'll probably pack light for this one. I brought a lot more anti-venoms because there's a lot of things in here that interact with anti-venom. I'd probably bring another Band-Aid because there's a lot of things in here that interact with Band-Aids. I'm just trying to maximize the amount of treasure that we can pull out of the static map, so... I know a lot of people say that I pack too much, but I just like to be able to use the interactables, and most of the time, it works out okay. Sometimes I have to throw things away, but usually I recoup the losses. It's very, very rare that I run out of money. It doesn't happen too often. With you, sir, have you been leveled up at all? You've got Chop 2. Ooh, he's got Torn Rotators. Man, he's got all kinds of issues, doesn't he? He has got all kinds of issues. Let's unequip all of our trinkets. Which was probably a mistake. However, I personally would like to make sure that we don't get ourselves into too much trouble here. She had the bandana, and then on top of that she had God only knows what she was rocking. What else was she rocking? She probably... I'm not seeing anything in here that's looking super useful for her on the side. I don't think we have anybody that's any good at disarming traps, so I may throw that on her just to see if she can help out a little bit with it on the way through. Although the minus 20% party surprise would be really, really nice too, so we'll take that. He had the Chirurgeon's Charm, and then on top of that, I think a pretty solid plan would be to roll something like... Yeah, that'd be great. Cool, we're good to go.
The ways and rituals of blood sacrifice are difficult to master. Those from beyond require a physical vessel if they are to make the crossing into our reality. The timing of the chants is imperative. Without the proper utterances at precise intervals, the process can fail spectacularly.
And then you end up with giant pig beasts with meat cleavers.
A nameless abomination. A testament to my failures. It must be destroyed.
I'm thinking he'll probably be right here. The best way to figure out where the boss is actually just to count squares. So that's a 2-step, that's a 1-step, 2-step, that's a 3-step, that's a 4, and so I think he's probably over here. This is a fight that we could lose. I don't want to, like, blow smoke up your ass or anything like that, but this is a fight that could definitely go wrong. I think... I'll probably run, for now anyways, until we get there. I'll probably run Abyssal Artillery. We shouldn't have too many problems getting there. I'm usually pretty pleased about it when I find that... I'm usually pretty pleased about it when I find that we don't have a lot of distance to cover to get to the boss, because that is the objective in these missions, and the faster you can take care of it, the better off you're going to be. In this case, we're going to have to hope that we don't end up with a ridiculous amount of diseases or anything on our way through. It does look like... we've got some early problems, but it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and throw out some Abyssal Artillery. That's 13 damage to the back line. That should get them spruced up plenty enough to where front line should be able to hit him. She should be able to hit him. And if we're lucky, that'll eliminate all of our issues. We wanted to watch out for any of our bleed issues. Oh yeah, he's got a stress heal, don't he? Cool. In we go for damage. I will probably shoot at that little pig right there and make him go wee 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 wee. That was stupid. Why did I do that? That was an idiotic move. I hate it when I do dumb stuff, like I had a plan, and then just because I'm doing commentary, or I'm talking, or I'm trying to think of things to talk about, I end up just doing something stupid. I don't know. It irritates me all the time. I get mad at myself. I've always been a bit of a screw-up my whole life. It is what it is, I guess. When the shoe fits, wear it, and all that fun stuff. Man, I was hoping that would work out a little bit better. Sometimes I wonder, though, if it was just like... because people always painted me as that, too, when I was younger. I was always in trouble and stuff like that. So people always painted me with that personality, too, even when I was putting in, like, a genuine effort and whatnot. And so I've always wondered about the way that that ends up affecting the way somebody comes around in their formative years. You know what I mean? I've always wondered about it. It's just little things like that, like nature versus nurture versus, like, labeling somebody as something. For me, ooh. Good God. Okay. It's a bit problematic. Not a big fan of all this bleeding we're doing right now. Yeah, I assume labeling something for me anyways. My mindset was, if you're going to blame me for shit that I didn't do, and you're just going to label me and say that I'm the bad kid, then I'm just going to be the bad kid. Because I'm getting all the trouble for it right now, without having any of the fun or any of the perks or benefits. And so it just seemed to me that the pragmatic option would be then just to be what people say you are. Because, I don't know, in high school they used to blame me for things. They'd always call me into the principal's office for questioning and shit. And I'd be like, I literally have no connection to what is going on right now. And every single time you guys call me in here like I'm a prime suspect or some shit. Get in trouble like one too many times and everybody just blames you for everything. I used to go in and they would like give me this incredulous look like I was totally guilty, and I'd be like, I had nothing to do with I mean, it's been like 10 years now. I would tell you if I was guilty in that case, and I'd say like 80% of the time, I wasn't guilty at all. They were just looking for somebody to like point the finger at and be like, ah, we got the culprit. Like, man, that shit is infuriating. When you didn't do something, people say you did. Ugh. Especially when you didn't reap like the financial or pecuniary benefits of the whole thing. It's just like, ah! It's very deeply upsetting.
Maintain the offensive.
I'm gonna go ahead and handle these issues before they get any larger. I don't think we had traps in here. Stresses. We're getting a lot of room battles on the way in. That's the other thing that I'm noticing. Luckily, the fight against the Swine Prince is not really a high stress fight. It shouldn't matter. Like, you should be able to go in with a reasonably high amount of stress, and it shouldn't be too bad. He's actually a DPS fight. You just gotta learn to tank it. And there's not much you can do other than that. Did they nerf you? I think they must have nerfed you. Doesn't feel like it's hitting the way that it used to. I'd say that little bastard right there is probably a fairly good target. Although this is an all-around nasty fight, so I don't think there's any right options right now. We kind of just need to get rid of everything on the field. Because right now we got stuns, we got diseases, we got just about everything and anything going wrong that could possibly go wrong. And they're not leaving us a lot of gaps to heal either, because we're going to want to go against Swine Prince with full health, since the majority of his mechanic is just you soaking massive amounts of damage. That should eliminate some of our little backline friends right there. Meanwhile, I don't want to accidentally kill him, so I'm just going to mark one of the corpses, I think. Let's see if we can... Oh, no, we cannot. I was going to say, we need to see if we can get a couple of decent heals off right now. I will probably rampart... Ah, it didn't work. Okay. That leaves him firmly in play. However, if I could just stun him for one turn... it would buy us a lot of time to fix some of the issues that we have. I thought Solemnity did 7 no matter what. I'm feeling a little cheated right now. Feeling a little cheated. It's okay. We'll get rid of him, and then we will offset the balance inside of this room. Got some extra food right there, too, so that's good. Alright, we got Blight from right there, so we'll fix that off real fast. We should have the boss fight right here, I think. Wow, there are a lot of room battles. This is an issue. There are a ton of room battles in here. They are softening me up nice and steady before we go in there. We got nobody that's good at disarming traps, so this could go either way. Luckily, we rolled the dice, we flipped the coin, and we won. Sometimes you don't win the coin toss, sometimes you do. It's not necessarily worth getting upset about. This is a group that I knew going in that we were going to have trap disarming issues. So, what can you do about it? Let's go ahead and throw out some Abyssal Artillery. Throw out a big hit right there. Perfect. Exactly what I like to see. Rain in the Forest. What are you talking about right now, man? Alright, a good first turn. He just threw up a chicken leg on me. He's like, blah, chicken leg. Please don't get stunned. Arrgh. This is becoming a frustration to me. Kind of wish things would fall into place a little easier here. Continue eliminate. I mean, we're doing fine. We're chugging through the dungeon at a decent rate. I just wanted to have higher health going up against... Oh, if he's going to focus with that ball and chain, ain't he? Alright. It's cool. We can drag this out a little while longer. I've got options. Well, maybe we'll just kill him. I might rely on a camp before we go up against the boss to see if we can get this finished off. Boss should be right there. Let's go ahead and take our camp then. We want a full meal, absolutely, to get that health back and also to help out with stress a little bit. I believe that I would like to go with tactics. That will help out in the long term. As far as that's not going to matter. Triage might work. This will put that on him. We'll try to get that as stacked up as possible before we go any further. With 5 remaining. Yeah, I guess I'll just play triage. I don't know. And then we'll rest. We'll hope that we don't get surprised.
Darkness
okay.
Closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
As far as ambushes go, that's not too terrible. It's workable. Yeah, exactly. I was assuming we'd be able to shut that one down with a quickness. It left him in a good position to do combat, so a little bit more treasure to be had. Let's go ahead and rearrange the line. I also need to rearrange the skill sets. Move you, move you. Alright, and so now we're golden. I need her to have flare in the next fight. Bola's not going to help, but we have to have flare. If we don't have flare, then you can't work at TGI Fridays, that's for certain. We managed to surprise a bunch of worms. Never underestimate my stealthiness, my ability to sneak up on enemies of a stupid and lumpy nature. Down goes a couple of worms. This should once again be a fight that should be absolutely no problem whatsoever. Down they go! I just wanted to kill as many of these bosses as possible before we did anything else. I wanted to move up to medium dungeons, but if you move up to the medium dungeons, then you can't fight the lower level bosses anymore because it locks you out of the dungeons. I get why they did it that way, in theory, but at the same time, I kind of just want to use leveled up people. Alright, and I was correct. So here we go. What he's going to do is he's going to mark one character. What we want to do is actually, I'm going to scoot you up so that we can knife this guy. We just want to focus damage on the big dude. If you hit the little guy, bad things are going to happen to you. Do not hit the little guy. Hitting the little guy will make your situation a lot worse. He's got 100% stun resist. That's rocking at 110, which means there's a 90% chance he'll resist. Instead, my suggestion would be bolster. Increase your dodge percentage, because here comes a big hit. Oh, and he didn't pull it out. At least it didn't crit. That's fine. I figured, I don't know. Now that one we'll want to cleanse. We'll definitely want to cleanse that one. That's bad juju for us right there. Since we're no longer rocking right there, instead, if I had the protective ability, I could put it on him, but it's okay. Let's just DPS through. We're already making pretty considerable charges in the enemy's direction. Do you only have Word Construction 1? He's got Word Construction 2. Okay, keep the damage on the big pig. I should have cleansed that. It'll be fine, maybe.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Not the gnarliest hit I've ever seen, but still pretty bad. He's going to mark the front two, though, so we're at no risk on this turn. He's setting us up for a giant hit right here, which means we need to set him up for giant hits. This fight is, after all, a DPS race. I keep hoping for crits. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be getting them out. So that's a little bit of a downer. We should be able to do something right there, though, to get him off death's door. He's going to resist the bleed, obliterate masses. That only did 6. Okay, so 16. That went really, really well. Sometimes he hits you right there for like 20 damage to both characters at the same time, and it's pretty difficult to recover from. Let's continue with our strikes. I probably should have had him bring some kind of protective ability, but that's my fault. Let's go ahead and get rid of the mark. And in this situation, he's going to do a thing called flailing or something like that. And it's going to hit a bunch of people, but I think all in all, it's not as bad. I think it's got a lower DPS, I think. DPT, whatever you want to call it. We'll probably want to take that off of her. Won't matter if we can land a crit on this turn, because Big Dude will be down. And there he goes. So that fight went actually really, really well. Like I said, Swine Prince is not a difficult fight. The only thing that makes Swine Prince difficult is that occasionally he gets these big streaky crits. And I'd say like 1 out of every 5 or 6 times I fight him, he just decimates me on the first couple turns no matter what you do. Just based on RNG. Luckily, it didn't go down like that. He's got an AoE stun. It's a little annoying. Luckily, they give you that stacking thing now. It was a lot more annoying before they gave you the stacking buff to stun resist. And that's pretty much, I think, the only ability that he has. Should be able to finish him off without any trouble. Done.
As victories mount, so too
I
resistance.
don't really want any of that. I don't think... Ugh. Wow, there are a lot of fights in this dungeon. This dungeon is legitimately a lot of fighting. I think I'm going to step on out because I don't know. We'll be fine. Like, we could go back in and fight some more, but it'll just get a little sluggy, and I can't guarantee we're going to make any money anyways. We didn't make a lot of cash on that run. In fact, I think we lost cash on that run, aside from the 4,500 bonus. We might end up with like an extra couple thou to spend, but it won't be much. Warrior of Light. We are looking solid right now. We are looking rock solid.
All my life, I
Very, very nice.
in
It
the back
looks
of my mind.
like our friend here.
A thirst for discovery that could be neither numbed nor sated.
I don't really need a glossary. He went on a personal vision quest to achieve enlightenment, so he's on that peyote. I told him to hide the hallucinogenics. Every time I leave town, though, these guys be hitting the mushrooms, the peyote, whatever, and then they're just wandering off into the wilderness. It's dangerous, but they keep doing it. They don't listen to me. That's what you have to understand here, is that I'm not really the boss. I barely keep a tenable grasp on most of these assholes a lot of the time, so... There's our bounty hunter.
The thrill of the hunt.
That'll be perfect.
Promise of payment.
It came with some okay abilities. I think he'll be useful. I like his color scheme. His color scheme's dope. He doesn't have Finish Him, but Finish Him is not really that useful unless you're running him in conjunction with maybe, like, somebody else that can stun. And even then, I think it's a little reliant on the fact that you don't want to get resisted. I mean, Finish Him is fine. It's not a bad ability, but you're much better off using Mark for Death than Collect Bounty. Or even better, running him with somebody else that can mark for him and save him the turn. Rose is back out. Everybody's looking pretty good. I think we have a good shot. Our character list is going well. We haven't lost anybody yet, right? Oh, no. We lost a couple of... Oh. Okay, so we have lost some characters. I had no idea. Sucks to be them. We lost Tall Boy, huh? That's brutal. I think we're just about out of time for the day. I don't think there's a whole lot else for us to accomplish for right now. We don't really have the money. We don't really have the time. So I'm just going to move things around a bit. Thanks for stopping by for another episode of Darkest Dungeon. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.